Right. Box 7.1, Moral Dumbfounding. Read the following story and decide on whether you think what Julie and Mark did was wrong. Julie and Mark, a sister and brother, were travelling together in the beach. They decided it would be interesting and fun if they tried making love. At the very least, it would be a new experience for each of them. At least, it would be a new experience for each of them. Julie was already taking birth control pills, but Mark would be safe. They both enjoy making love, but they decide not to do it again. They keep the night as a special secret, which makes them feel closer to each other. Edith and his colleagues, 1993, presented this story and many more like them to lots of people and asked them to judge it, the people in the story. Edith was less interested in whether the people thought what the people in the story did was right or wrong than the reason people gave to justify their decision. Reaction that what Julia Mark did was wrong. But after an initial reaction of, you may have struggled to explain why it is wrong. Note that the story being cleverly crafted to counter the most common they did was wrong. For example, the siblings used two forms of contraception, so that inbreeding is not a consideration. The story makes it clear that they are not emotionally hurt. It takes place in a private, so your act could not offend the community. And Julia and Mark agreed never to do it again, so that it would not interfere with future relationships. Eventually, participants are left with no rational justification that they can articulate, and so they talk instead of their gut reaction. I don't know. I can't explain it. I just know it's wrong. Edith calls the kind of reaction a moral dumbfounding. We know it is wrong, but struggle to explain why. When reading the two further examples at the end of this box, you might think that they are unpleasant, but try to identify who the victim is in the stories. If they tap into deep moral foundations, it's illegal, isn't it? So, none of that stops me answering. The car in front of their house. They had heard that dog meat was delicious, so they cut the dog's body, cooked it, ate it for dinner. Nobody saw them do it. A man goes to the supermarket once a week and buys a dead chicken, but before cooking the chicken, he has sexual intercourse with it. Then he cooks it and eats it. Talking point. Are we born naturally selfish or cooperative? This is an age-old philosophical debate. Either human nature is especially selfish and individualistic unless tamed by culture, or humans are born virtuous and are corrupted by society. We could argue that one idea needs the other, that there is no virtue without the capacity for harm. The reality for children is that they are both competitive and cooperative. Having sex with a chicken, that is that one way of having sex, necrophilia and bestiality. Well, eat the dog. It's eating the dog. It's against the faith. But at least it didn't go to where it lives on, which is interesting. But precisely where the balance lies and what the context brings out. In the chapter, we have shown that even young children can make choices based on moral principles of fairness and care. precisely when the moral capacities emerge in development in implications for holding children accountable for their actions. With the development of more moral capacity comes more moral responsibility. There is clearly a difference between a moral competence of a 6-year-old versus a 16-year-old, but where the line of moral responsibility falls needs conversation that is wider than science. It is also a debate that developmental psychologists can usefully contribute by providing the evidence of what children are capable of and what they are not, and how the moral development can vary between children. Summary. Sensitivity to fair outcomes emerges early in development. Collaborative activities heighten children's sense of fairness. Children consider merit, effort, and need when allocating a fair share. Children are willing to police fairness in others, even if unfairness does not directly affect them, and when doing so incurs personal cost. Children are motivated by social hard to present themselves favorably. Guilt, shame, and pride are emotions that help to regulate moral behavior. Children are aware of social functions of guilt, shame, and pride. Sensitive and appropriate moral action requires children to empathize with others. Children's tendency towards helpfulness can summarize. Appropriate moral action requires children to empathize with others. Children's tendency towards helpfulness can summarize incorporates the values of the society they are born into. Care, harm, fairness, cheating, loyalty, control, authority, subversion, sanctity, and degradation are likely to become significant moral dimensions for children. Precisely what content becomes part of those dimensions can vary according to time and place.